Imagine you create something that could change the world forever. A new form of money free from banks and governments. And then, at the very height of your creation, you vanish without a trace. The only thing you leave behind is a short, almost casual message. This message is the last known sign of life from Satoshi Nakamoto, the mysterious creator of Bitcoin. And what it means remains one of the greatest puzzles of our time. The story doesn't begin with a loud bang, but with an unassuming document shared on a little notice mailing list. On October 31st, 2008, a person using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto published a message on the cryptography mailing list. Attached was a white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The document seemed unspectacular. No grand announcements or revolutionary slogans, just 9 pages proposing a way to transfer money directly between people without any banks, governments, or mutual trust. At the time, the message was almost lost in the noise, but the timing was perfect. The world was in the throes of a financial crisis. Major banks were collapsing. Governments were printing money to stop the meltdown, and many people watched their savings evaporate. Trust in the traditional financial system was shattered. In the midst of this chaos, Bitcoin appeared. Not with protests, but with mathematics, code, and an idea that would shake our understanding of money. Satoshi Nakamoto never revealed who he, she, or they were. There was only this name and a few emails and forum posts. What stood out from the beginning was the tone, calm, polite, and matter-of-fact. Satoshi patiently answered questions, explained technical details clearly, and avoided any form of self-promotion. It seemed the person behind the name wasn't interested in fame, but only in sharing an idea. The Bitcoin code was released on January 3, 2009, along with the so-called Genesis block. Embedded in this very first block was a line of text, the Times 03 at Jan 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. More than just a timestamp, it was a quiet note of protest, a warning, a mission statement. Over the next 2 years, Satoshi continued to work tirelessly. He released new software versions, responded to suggestions, fixed bugs, and guided the protocol's development. But the mystery remained unsolved. Who was this person? A lone wolf, a team, a government agency, a time traveler? The internet speculated endlessly, but Satoshi never addressed these questions. No photos, no interviews, no addresses, just code, ideas, and short messages. What made Satoshi special was not just his anonymity, but also his restraint. In an age where many seek attention, Satoshi disappeared, forgoing the fame his invention could have brought him. He had created a new form of money with no central authority, no CEO, no borders, and showed no ambition to lead it. As Bitcoin became more well-known, the questions grew louder. Who is Satoshi? Why does he remain anonymous? Why should we trust an unknown person? But that was the core of the project. It wasn't about trusting Satoshi, it was about trusting the code, the math, and the network consensus. Satoshi's silence wasn't a quirk, but a deliberate part of the system's design. Towards the end of 2010, something changed. Satoshi's posts became less frequent. His presence faded. Finally, in April of 2011 came the last known public message, a short email to developer Gavin Andreessen. I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands with Gavin and everyone. No explanation, no goodbye, just a brief note, and then silence. The creator of Bitcoin vanished into the shadows, leaving behind one of the most powerful financial systems ever created and a mystery that continues to fascinate us today. This marked the beginning of a new chapter. Satoshi left behind not just code, but a legacy, a puzzle, and the question, why did he disappear and what did he really want to tell us with his final words? After creating the Genesis block and officially launching the network, Satoshi remained present, but never overbearing. He guided the project's initial phase with precision and humility, seeming more interested in the idea than in fame. Between 2009 and 2010, Satoshi wrote hundreds of messages and emails, never sensational, but always calm and methodical, focused on Bitcoin's security and clarity. He regularly corresponded with early developers like Hal Finney, Mike Hearn, and later Gavin Andreessen, offering technical advice, explaining proof of work, and discussing vulnerabilities. The tone remained consistently factual, humble, almost reserved, without any urge to build a following. Satoshi's identity was the code. One of his last major contributions was the release of version 0.3 of the Bitcoin software in the summer of 2010, which significantly improved the protocol. At the same time, Satoshi grew more cautious as the media started reporting on Bitcoin. He even wrote, "If you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to try to convince you, sorry." It sounded as if the growing attention was more of a threat to him than a success. Then Satoshi's retreat began. His forum posts became rarer, as did his emails. Instead of leading, he encouraged others to take responsibility. On December 12, 2010, he wrote, "There's more work to do on denial of service, but I'm doing a quick build of what I have so far in case it's needed." It sounded like a developer signing off for the weekend, not like someone disappearing forever, but it was one of Satoshi's last technical messages. On April 23, 2011, came the final contact, an email to Gavin Andresen. "I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands." 7 words. At first glance, a simple farewell, but for many, a moment of profound significance. Bitcoin was no longer under the protection of its creator. The mysterious author of the white paper, the network's first miner, and its mentor had left the stage. Some hoped for Satoshi's return, but the silence remained absolute. No more posts, no more code, no more messages. Over the years, it became clear that Satoshi was gone for good. This only deepened the mystery. Every old post was scoured for clues, every phrase analyzed with no success. But perhaps the real question isn't who Satoshi was, but why he disappeared at that particular moment. Why did he leave the project just as it was gaining momentum? Was it an act of trust, a cautious escape, a warning? Over time, the phrase, "it's in good hands," became a symbol. For some, it was a vote of confidence. For others, a calculated exit by a founder who had planned his departure from the start. Gavin Andresen was one of the most active and capable developers at the time, so perhaps this was indeed a handover to a worthy successor. But Bitcoin was never just a software project. Satoshi didn't just build code, he built a new model for power, trust, and consensus without a central figure. His withdrawal was a philosophical decision. Had Satoshi stayed, he would have become a global icon, influencing debates and drawing the attention of governments and the media. Bitcoin would have been tied to his persona. By leaving, Satoshi averted that danger. "It's in good hands" was not just addressed to Gavin, but an appeal to everyone. Bitcoin became a network governed by consensus, not by a commander. Satoshi's retreat was an invitation for the community to grow up. "It's yours now." Perhaps it was also about self-preservation. As Bitcoin's value grew, so did the risks. Authorities were watching. Banks were skeptical. Satoshi's disappearance was quiet and deliberate, like a final chess move against the concept of control. Without a leader, Bitcoin could become what it was meant to be: borderless, leaderless, unstoppable. Of course, not everything went smoothly after Satoshi's departure. There were bitter debates like the block size war that led to the split of Bitcoin Cash. But none of these conflicts destroyed Bitcoin. They forced the network to evolve, to resolve disputes among themselves, and to survive without a savior. Perhaps this is the true meaning of Satoshi's departure, not just a personal retreat, but a call for all of us to take responsibility and to stop waiting for a leader. Even in his absence, Satoshi remained true to his system. Bitcoin is not based on charisma or ideology, but on verifiable rules. Satoshi's silence became a message in itself. The power lies with the users, not the creator. The best leadership for a decentralized project is no leadership at all. His last sentence is more than a farewell. It is a blueprint not carved in stone, but forged in consensus. Satoshi is gone, but his legacy is more than code or cryptocurrency. It's a challenge. Can we carry the project forward, not because we are told to, but because we truly believe in it? After Satoshi's disappearance, many wondered if Bitcoin would survive without its mysterious inventor. Would the system fail under its own complexity? Would internal disputes be its downfall? Would innovation stagnate without a leader? But Bitcoin was designed to regulate itself and to survive the loss of its creator. The code doesn't care who wrote it. The network doesn't need permission. The consensus rules don't need a president. In the vacuum left by Satoshi, others stepped forward, not as successors, but as contributors. Gavin Andresen became a central developer without ever claiming to be the new Satoshi. The culture of Bitcoin rejected central authority. Power was distributed among developers, miners, users, and entrepreneurs. Decisions were debated, not commanded. This often chaotic approach became a strength. The community learned to organize itself, to collaborate openly, and to grow through consensus. The protocol continued to evolve. SegWit was introduced, network security was strengthened. The Lightning Network brought faster payments. All of this happened without a CEO, without a board of directors, without a central office. Unlike in companies or states, where a founder's departure signifies weakness, Satoshi's absence made Bitcoin more resilient. There was no one to corrupt, threaten, or shut down. The human single point of failure was eliminated. Years later, fierce disagreements arose, like the block size war that culminated in Bitcoin Cash. But instead of breaking, Bitcoin adapted, split, and continued to grow. It attracted a new generation of developers, miners, platforms, and users. Even people without a technical background, without trust in governments, without access to banks, found in Bitcoin a tool for financial freedom. This decentralization allowed Bitcoin to adapt to diverse conditions worldwide, as an escape from capital controls in autocracies, as a store of value in inflation-ridden countries, and as an innovation platform in digital societies. Bitcoin never asks for permission, it simply exists. All of this happened without Satoshi, or perhaps precisely because of him. His absence removed the risk of personalization from the project. No one could claim the true vision. No one could hijack the project with charisma or fame. The resulting vacuum became the fertile ground for a project that belongs to no one, yet serves everyone. In this sense, Satoshi's last sentence, "It's in good hands," was not just a handover to one person, but to all of humanity. Not to manage Bitcoin as a product, but to preserve its principle. Money doesn't have to be issued by kings or presidents. Trust can emerge from transparency. Control can be replaced by consensus. Freedom is not granted, but fought for. Over time, the myth of Satoshi grew. The media hunted for his identity. Rumors swirled. Wallets were watched. But the network kept running. The blocks kept ticking. The code kept evolving. Bitcoin didn't just survive its creator's disappearance, it grew stronger because of it. But what does all this mean, not just for Bitcoin, but for the world? What legacy does Satoshi leave behind? What can we learn about power, freedom, and responsibility? Few inventions have such an ending. An anonymous white paper, a global network built on mathematics and willpower, a creator who vanishes into silence. Satoshi's legacy is more than digital money. It is a message to us all. Bitcoin is the first modern system that asks no one for permission, obeys no central authority, and yet functions reliably worldwide. Its creator never cashed out, never sought power. He let his creation grow without him. That alone is a revolutionary act. It challenges all our assumptions about progress, leadership, and legacy. What if true power lies not in holding on, but in letting go? Satoshi's departure wasn't a flaw, it was the masterstroke. By stepping back, he prevented anyone from becoming the heir, the cult leader, the ideologue. The lack of leadership is the foundation of true decentralization. This is perhaps the most important lesson. When we trust not a person, but rules, transparency, and logic, true fairness emerges. Bitcoin doesn't ask for faith in Satoshi. It invites you to check the math, to inspect the code, and to observe the network. It doesn't care about identity, language, or origin, and treats everyone equally. Fairness becomes a protocol, not a slogan. This idea extends far beyond cryptocurrency. The ethics of open-source collaboration, censorship resistance, and peer-to-peer empowerment are influencing finance, governance, media, identity, and our understanding of truth. Satoshi planted a seed that is now growing in unexpected places. Satoshi's silence reinforces his message. We remember him not for who he was, but for what he built and what he never became. Not a star, not a leader, not a guru. He became a symbol, and symbols have power. His final words, "I've moved on to other things." It's in good hands, sound like a challenge today. Are we truly those good hands? Are we building with the same discipline, restraint, and vision? Do we honor the idea of decentralization, or do we revert to the comfort of centralism? These are not technical questions, but ethical, philosophical ones. Satoshi gave us not just a tool, but an invitation to think differently, to create systems that empower rather than exploit, to place trust in code instead of charisma, to let value flow freely past borders, gatekeepers, and permissions, and above all, to take responsibility. Bitcoin has no customer service, no CEO to hold accountable. Everyone must stand for themselves, protect their own keys, think for themselves. This is both a gift and a burden. Freedom isn't free, not because it costs money, but because it demands attention. This is Satoshi's true message. Not written in the white paper, not hidden in the code, but in the essence of what he left behind. Don't wait for others to fix things. Don't trust a leader to protect your money, your speech, your future. Create systems that eliminate the need for leadership and then step back, not out of indifference, but out of faith in the next generation. Perhaps we will never know who Satoshi Nakamoto was, and perhaps that's for the best. Sometimes the loudest message is silence, the greatest presence is absence, and sometimes it's enough to show up, build something beautiful, and then let it go. Satoshi's last sentence lives on, not in an email, but in every block we verify, every key we manage, every system we design. It's in our hands now. Satoshi is gone, but Bitcoin remains, and it is rising. But what are the true, fundamental reasons for Bitcoin's unstoppable ascent beyond the hype and speculation? In our next video, we will get to the bottom of exactly that question.